time that I have gotten to do this. How many of you guys are aware of an app called Anime Unlocked? If you have an Android phone, probably not because it doesn't exist for you yet. But there is a Facebook group. It was started by two little-known voice actors by the name of Bryce Papenbrook and Dave Vincent. Bryce Papenbrook you might know as the voice of Kirito and like 9 zillion other voices. And Dave Vincent is very well known for his character in Kill la Kill that I cannot remember his name right now, but you guys probably do. And he also has 9 zillion other characters. But they came to me and said, we're starting this app where we want voice actors to live stream wherever they are and talk to their fans from wherever they might be. And they said, we also want to provide some exclusive content, so will you do a show for us? And I said, yeah, that sounds awesome. I have always tried to be a positive person. It's the only way I've been able to survive in this crazy industry of being an actor and a writer and a director. It's full of rejection, and so I always have to remind myself, I'm going to get the jobs that are right for me, and I'm not going to get the jobs that are right for someone else. So, that being said, being positive and having positive affirmations has always been a big part of my life, and they said, we would like you to do a show where you give a daily affirmation every single day, and we've been doing that for over 365 days as of May. And some of you guys have seen the show and you have written in and you've been so wonderfully supportive of the show and of the app. So the way that it works online is I have an email address. People send in responses to a prompt. I've asked people what they are excited to give for the holidays, what is the favorite gift that they are excited to give to other people or what they would give to the world. I have asked people what is their dream come true, crazy things like that. And some people will say, I've been struggling with such and such and now I have come out the other end and I just want to share my story. Some people say, I'm dealing with this issue and I would just like you to give me an affirmation to help me through it. But it's just a little bit of positivity. So I have some Post-its and a pen if anybody's like, please, I want you to talk about something that's going on in my life, but I don't want you to share my name and I don't want to vocalize it. So you can just write it down anonymously and hopefully there's not like one of you because then I have to pretend like I wrote 12 of them as well, which is fair, I can do that too. Or if you just want to raise your hand and ask questions or talk about things positive that happen in your life, or if you're like, I don't really want an affirmation, I just want to ask you what it was like doing crazy voices for that one show that I watched way back when. In which case, we could totally do that too. So this panel is all about what you guys want. It's a love and light panel. So you guys bring love and light into my life with the show that I do on Unlocked, with the live streams that I get to be a part of, with the anime that I get to be a part of when I get to meet you guys. It's really wonderful to know that the job that I love so much, you guys connect with it, and you sharing your stories really help make my life a lot more loving and a lot more positive. So I'll put these here if anybody wants them. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions, raise your hand, and this lovely individual has a mic, and I'll answer it the best of my ability. Yeah. So that's that long-winded explanation at the beginning. Anybody have a question? Yes. You look super cute, by the way.
Thank you. So after doing Anime Unlocked, does it make you want to do more acting on camera?
Great question. I actually got into the business not knowing that voice acting was a thing, not knowing voiceover was a thing, because when I started acting I was 5, and all I thought that being an actor was being on Barney, and that was like my life's ambition. And that didn't happen. That dream was crushed at 8 years old when the producer said, I'm not going to put you on Barney. You'd be great, but I think it would ruin your career. And I was like, my 8-year-old self was like, dude, Barney is career. That's like all there is. But I've since moved on. I've done a lot of voiceover. I love doing on-camera work. I always say that was like my first love, and I love doing film. I've done theater later. I just love being an actor. So I love telling stories in whatever form those stories take. When I write scripts, which I've written a lot of, they're usually on camera, film, television, projects like that. I haven't written a cartoon before. So yeah, doing Unlocked was great because it was the spiritual positive aspect, and then also getting to do stuff on camera. And it was also nice because as an actor, if any of you guys are actors, stage or otherwise, you know you have very little control over stuff. You're like the clay, and the director and the producer and the costumer get to kind of mold what they want you to become in this character form, and you got to bring everything to the table and make their vision and your vision a reality, but you don't really get to make a whole lot of demands. So for this show, I kind of got to tell them what I sort of wanted it to be, and since I'm so used to being an actor, I was like, everything's great, and they were like, you have an opinion, tell us your opinion. So I was like, oh, okay. So it was actually great for me as a content creator and as a creative individual to start being able to have confidence in what I want and what I would like to see my projects come to fruition. So it's been very beneficial in more ways than one, which is, I was also shocked that people wanted to watch it. I was like, nobody's gonna wanna watch positivity like 24/7 all the time, but everybody liked it. And they're like, you have to give us more and more and more. And I was like, oh my gosh, there are tons of people like me that like rainbows and butterflies and all things adorable. So that was great to find out.
Okay, so this one's a little bit sort of like anime related and also sort of mental health, real life problems thing, because I often, like, I've watched and at Persona 5 a lot, and I see a lot of myself in Makoto having all these expectations being put on top of you, and sadly that's happening with me in real life at the moment. Hang on a minute. You know, I don't know how you felt playing the role of that character and having the thing of being able to break free from that with what she does in the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah. Great question. Makoto I really related to. In school, I'm a very type A person, so I feel like I have to be perfect. I want to be the best at everything that I possibly can be. And I've realized as I've gotten older, I'm really nice and really forgiving to other people, and I'm really mean to myself. Just because I have really high expectations for what I should allow myself to get away with or what is good enough, because I know it's for other people. And so with the internet being what it is, and being in such a public profession that is all about other people's opinions of what they think of your work, and that's so much of my job, is if I'm not perfect or I didn't do the best, I'm not going to be the one to get the job. So that's kind of spilled over into the rest of my life, that if I don't get the A or I don't get a perfect score in school, then I'm not going to be able to act, because that was the thing with my parents, is I had to make A's or B's or I couldn't be an actor, because I had to be able to juggle both. And if I was slipping in my academics, then I couldn't handle both and I couldn't be an actor. So I was like, well, I have to be the best. I have to have great grades. So when they told me about Makoto, I was like, oh, I get this girl all too well. If anything, as we started working on it, recording it, I would get so upset with Makoto. I'm like, she's awesome. Why is she so mean to herself? Why is she saying these things about herself? And the director goes, I don't know, Cherami. Why would she pick on herself? And I was like, oh, this is so meta. Oh, man. So what was so great about working in that role is when she got to be so fierce and sort of out of character, and not only did everybody think it was okay, but they loved it, and she was fully accepted and embraced for every single part of who she was. It was really, really great to be able to see that and then sort of try to apply that in my life while I was dealing with the stuff with Unlocked and people asking me if I wanted to direct things and have opinions. And I was like, oh, right, I'm allowed to have opinions or make mistakes. And so that was great. Did you have another question? Yeah, sure.
Just sort of on the lines of like how I feel like with the Phantom Thieves and that, like being their own little thing, and how cosplayers are their own little things. I just want to say thank you for taking on that role.
Thank you. I mean, thank you guys for embracing it and for being so supportive. We did the Persona 5 panel at Anime Expo last year, and the whole cast was there, and we expected like maybe 50 people, and there were like 4,000 people, and then they said there were a bunch of people that didn't get in, and all of us backstage were so overwhelmed, and people were saying like, we want you to see our cosplay, and we made this stuff for you, and we're seeing all of this art and all of these things that the talents that people have and how they related it to our game, and it was really, really overwhelming because we record alone. Like, the actors never spend any time together unless we're at conventions. So I've talked to a bunch of people at conventions, and they say, I feel like I don't fit in anywhere else but at a convention. I feel like my friends don't get me, or my family doesn't always get me, but when I'm at a convention, I'm safe and I can be who I want to be. And they said, you have no idea what that feels like. I'm like, oh, I do. I never fit in. And so to be able to come to conventions as part of my job and be surrounded by all these people that love and accept everyone, it's just a beautiful place. So thank you guys.
As a heads up to all those who want to ask questions, if you leave your hand up during one question being asked, it means I can kind of wander over to the next person, put the microphone near them without running in front of the camera so that we're in front.
Nice.
Just because I've sweeped the camera crew 3 times, I've watched one of them already vibrate in anger. So who's got the next question?
Yeah, you mentioned about Persona 5 dancing. Are you ready to break up some dance moves?
You know, I could try. Let's see if I could do ballet in heels. My mom would be so proud of me. My mom's a dance teacher, but she mainly does ballet. So I tap danced and did all of the traditional stuff. I did no hip hop, so if you're expecting hip hop, that's not going to happen. That's just awkward. No worries.
I just wanted to say, like, when you're taking on the role of Lucy, compared to most of the rest of the guild, you just see the coaches come naturally. She always seems to struggle that bit, but she powers through anyway. And as somebody who may not show it, but does actually have a brief moments of, oh God, what the hell am I actually doing? It's like, that actually, it does mean a lot. So thank you for, like, showing that really well and showing that quite organically. So thank you very much.
The reason it feels organic is it's the story of my life. I feel like as an actor and as somebody who is, living my dream. I wanted to be an actor. Technically, my dream was to be on Barney, but dreams evolve when you're 5. So I am living my dream, and as much as things might go wrong in my life, I have to remind myself if I'm running late to a session, yes, but you get to go be in a video game today. So yes, you're stuck in traffic, but it's gonna be okay. And Lucy's been a huge part of that. Lucy is actually the reason that I kind of sucked it up and moved out to LA, because it was so scary. I had lived in Dallas, my family was there, I had been working there my whole life, and so when I made the move to Los Angeles, I was like, should I do this? It's the big unknown, and I might not be successful, I might never work again, and can I do that? And then as I was voicing Lucy, one of the scenes where I made my decision was when she goes to her dad and says, I'm going to be a member of Fairy Tale and I don't care if you like it or if you don't. And I've always been very fortunate that my parents have supported everything that I have done, and they're always very understanding. So telling them I wanted to move to LA, they were not like, well, no, we're not going to support you. They said, good, we think you should. You've been spending a lot of money making flights out there, and we'll miss seeing you, but we'll travel to see you. And I see my mom probably once every couple of months, either at a convention or she flies out to visit. But yeah, that was actually the reason why I chose to move, because I'm like, look, if I'm playing a character that is fully and truly who she is and is fearless, even when bad stuff happens, she still pushes through, and I'm not willing to go for my dream, then I'm a hypocrite. And I'm playing her all the time, so it's constantly reinforcing, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Or are you going to just stay stagnant? Or are you going to keep growing? So I'm really grateful that I got her, especially at the time in my life that I did when I needed that. So thank you for loving her. I love that character. Yes, hello.
I just want to say thank you very much for being the voice of Makoto and bringing such a very unique and very cool character in the Persona universe.
She is pretty cool. I'm biased though.
It's just quite a few moments in the Persona 5 game when like me, a few friends have came across and we just saw Makoto like really stand out. Was just, well, how do I put it? Like some people that probably fall in love with the character because they're so good. So
Well, thank you.
I just want to say thank you very much for creating such a great character.
Thank you guys. Thanks for supporting it, playing the game. I lucked out. Atlas called and it was my first time working with them. And they said, would you like to be in a Persona game? And I said, sure. And they were telling me about all the characters. And I said, so who's playing Makoto? Because when they told me that, my ears peaked. I was like, oh, they're all super cool, but who is the lucky person who gets that one? And they said, that's you. And I was like, okay, don't fangirl too much. I was like, oh, cool. Well, let's get to work then. And inside I'm like, yes. I would drive home from my sessions imagining like what different people in my life, what their personas would look like and what the different worlds would look like. And I almost got into an accident and I was like, don't brainstorm or get trapped in the world while you're driving. That's unsafe. But I loved the game so much that it was like my life for months and months. Hello.
I just wanted to ask, say thank you. Persona 5 is one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
Yay!
I kind of had a big problem last year. My life was kind of falling apart kind of thing.
Aww.
And then I played Persona 5 and it kind of made me feel a lot better and relate to these characters. I just wanted to ask, did you relate to Makoto anyway? Did you have anything in common with any of the characters?
Did I like react to her differently from the other characters?
Yeah. How did you relate to Makoto in any way?
Oh, I totally relate to her and I love her so much. We have so much in common. Like I said, I'm super type A. The only thing that we do not have in common, I think, is I cannot braid my hair as well as she does, and I don't have a motorcycle. And if I did have a motorcycle, I probably would not ride it for fear I would injure other people. See, not even concerned about my own well-being, but the other people on the road, I would be a little nervous about. They asked me if I wanted to get a motorcycle for the Persona 5 panel, and I was like, no, I think I might run over Max Middleman, and nobody needs that. So, no, that's the only thing that took a lot of imagination is like, what would it be like if I, was a motorcycle? And that was weird, because that's hard to think about. But yeah, other than that, it was all pretty easy. It was all like too real. Where you're like, did they make this character about me? Because this is too similar. I don't eat curry as much as she does either. Not because I don't want to, but because, I can't. I have to eat more fruits and vegetables. If I could eat curry all the time, I probably would. Yes?
Hi there. Do you have any advice for staying positive in high-pressure work situations, for example?
Yeah, great question. So a couple of years ago, I took a job because it was an amazing opportunity, and I've grown up working with the company. But I was a writer for Radio Disney, and I wrote all of the content and all of the promos that would be on the air for all 3 stations. And so that was a full-time job, but at the same time I was also being an actor full-time, and I was going to conventions all the time. So I was multiple times having to be in 3 places at one time and managing 3 inboxes, and it was very, very stressful because Disney has a lot of things last minute, huge opportunities that they need immediately. Being an actor is all about huge opportunities last minute, and you have to be available for everything. And I noticed I was starting to get like really bad heart problems. Like my heart was, it was beating so fast that I couldn't breathe, and I was having severe panic attacks. And I went to the doctor, and she said my stress levels were too high, that I looked like someone who's in their late 60s that had worked in corporate America and was about to have a heart attack. And I was 25. So she was like, you need to get this under control. And so I had to do everything possible to lower my stress until I could let one of the jobs go. And I have said many times, I don't think I can do this anymore. But I had a director and a manager friend that told me, if you can do anything in this world other than acting and be as happy as you are being an actor, then you should do it. But if you can't, if acting is the one thing that makes you happy, or fill in the blank for whatever the one thing is that you love in your life that causes you stress, if you can find anything else in the world to do that will make you equally happy, do that. If you can't, then that's what you're meant to do. You just have to really take care of yourself and remind yourself of all of the things that you love. So when I would be stressed and writing 18 scripts, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? I have to write 100 scripts for Olaf because Josh Gad is recording this session in Hawaii on his vacation, and I don't want Olaf melting, waiting on me. And so while I'm sitting there stressing over writing these scripts, I'm like, well, Josh Gad has agreed to do a session and he's reading my writing, and this is kind of insane. And so you just have to keep putting that stuff in perspective with what's going on in your life, and finding things that make you happy. I think somebody brought me, Edwina and Rob brought me squishies. Yay! Squishies make me really happy. When I'm in traffic or when things are going bad, I have these little squishies that smell like pastries or all things sweet, and I just like sit in traffic and go, it's okay, I have a cheesecake the size of my face. I'm fine. Things will get better. So silly things like that really help me keep in perspective that I can't take life too seriously, because it tries to tell me I should, and I shouldn't do that. Yes. Hi.
Yeah, just a quick question. How is it you, what made you know you wanted to be an actor at such a young age?
Ooh, great question. I don't know. The very first memory that I've had is just that I remember when I would be taking a bath, and like in the US, I don't know if you guys have this too, there's like a little mirror disc that's under the faucet, and I would do commercials or TV shows to the mirror disc like I was in a movie, and I was like 2 or 3 years old, so I didn't really, it was like I didn't really have a choice. That's just what I wanted to do, and I just had to figure out how I was going to do it. And then when I saw Barney, my mom was a dance teacher, and one of the girls that she taught was one of the main characters. So in my little brain, it associated like, oh, that is real, because I know her, and she's on television, and she gets to act with a purple dinosaur who sings songs and makes crafts all day. Okay. And so that was what I thought being an actor was. And then when I was 8 years old, I was like, I think I want to be a director. And then I got older and I said, I don't like telling people what to do. And now that I've gotten older, everyone's like, you should be a director. And I'm like, we'll see. So it's constantly evolving. And I don't know. I don't think I like ever made a decision. I think I just kind of understood this is what I would like to do. This is what I think sounds fun. And it all sort of fell into place. My parents were supportive, but they definitely didn't want me to be a professional actor. My mom had done some commercials when she was young, and she hated it because they'll pick at the way your face looks, or the way you look, or how you say a word, or it's a constant, like, you could say they would say it's not you, it's us. But when you're an actor, it is like, it's you, it's definitely not us, because we're working with someone else. So she didn't want me to do that for that reason. And then once I made a presentation to my parents out of construction paper and feathers that said, this is why I need an agent, and this is why I need to be on Barney, they were like, no, we're going to put you in a bunch of classes, and you're going to see how hard it is, and you're going to hate it. And that backfired on them. I was like, can we do this all day, every day? And my mom was like, what have I done? So it just kind of, it's just instinctively and intuitively what I knew I wanted to do. I wish I knew there was like a moment, like I saw the Black Panther and just knew. No, it wasn't like that. Although when I saw Black Panther, I was like, I need to get in a stunt class really badly, because I want to be that fierce 24/7. So I did. I took a stunt class. It's hard. It's really hard. It makes my ribs hurt. And I didn't take any punches. I still got to work on that. Yes, hello.
Hi there. I'm somebody who does sort of amateur voice work for various different things.
Amazing.
And I wonder, do you have any tips or advice for somebody who wants to sort of try and break into the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I don't know much of the UK scene, but I imagine it's very similar to the US scene in many ways. I always tell people, take as many classes as you possibly can. like take cold reading classes, never seeing the script before and picking it up for the first time and trying to build a character having no reference, because we never get the script ahead of time. I think I can count on maybe one hand how many times I've gotten the script ahead of time for a video game, and most of the time it's like, so you're going to be playing this character today and you've got like 400 lines, so let's just jump in. And you kind of have to read the line once, you look at the animation, and then you like figure it out as you go. I think for that reason cold reading is very helpful. I think improv is very, very helpful. I have gotten a lot of jobs because I am totally cool making up crazy characters on the fly or ad-libbing something as I'm reading them. So I think improv is very important. I think dance classes are helpful, especially if you're working with dubbing and the flaps. It can be really helpful just to understand rhythm. Breath support is really cool. Fighting, stunt choreography, fight choreography is great, especially if you're doing mocap, which I know they do that here. So that's always a good thing to learn and work on. And there's a magic tea that is called, well, it's a cough syrup, but you put it in tea. They call it Hulk juice, but it's you can get it on Amazon, and it's an Asian tea that is like NIOMJEOM. It's like 8 letters. I'll post a picture of it on my Instagram so you guys can grab it. But that stuff will save your voice when it is dying and shredded and will get you through your session. Don't overuse it. Like if you're already falling apart, don't like schedule 9 sessions and be like, I'm gonna go with this cough syrup, because you will kill your voice. It's like, if you hear it start to go, you maybe got 2 sessions of 2 hours left, and then you've gotta be silent. But that stuff I think is like a lifesaver for voice actors. And just keep being you. Don't try to imitate other people's voices. I mean, definitely if you're watching a character and you're like, oh, that's a fun voice, and you do your version of it, cool. But I have so many people that will say like, I do a great Vic Mignogna impression, or I do a great Todd Habercorn impression. And then recently somebody's like, listen to my Bryce Papenbrook impression. I was like, those are fantastic, but if somebody wants Bryce, Todd, or Vic, they're probably just gonna call Bryce, Todd, or Vic. So you've gotta create your own voice, your own sound, what kind of characters that you play, so that a couple years down the road, somebody's gonna be like, hey, do you wanna hear my fill in the blank? And you're like, no, he will not hear your impression, because I'm taking that job, it's me. I originated that impression, it's my voice. So it's all about creating your sound and just your own personality. And be proud of who you are, because there's only one you. Good luck. Super awesome. Yes.
Hi. Are there any professional voice actors that you are a fan of that you haven't met but would like to meet sometime in the future?
Ooh, so many, like all of them. I did a session recently where I was working with Cree Summer, who was the voice of Susie and like 90 million other voices. But we did a partner session, which never happens. And she walked in all of her super cool, she looks like a rock star, guys, like I'm not kidding. And she walked in and I like kind of freaked out a little bit, and I was like, I will never be as cool as this human is, like ever in my life, at any point. And then she started working, and she's so talented and so cool that I forgot to say my line because I was too busy like nerding out about this woman is the coolest in the world. Oh, that's my line, sorry. So she was amazing. An actress that I will never get to work with, unfortunately, or meet, and she is one of my favorite people, is the voice actress who played Chucky in Rugrats. She's been in so many things. She's insanely talented. She's got the coolest voice ever, and I believe she passed away last year, which kind of broke my heart a little bit because I love her so much. But there are many, many other voice actors, and what's cool about getting to come to conventions is I will meet people that I'm like, I didn't know you were that voice, because these people can do 80 million voices. The first time I experienced that was working with, did you guys have Wishbone here? The show about a talking dog? Okay, well there's a show called Wishbone, and they reenacted books and paired it with modern storytelling. And I met the actor who voiced Wishbone, And in Dallas, he is considered the man of 90 voices. And he got brought in to play one character, and then all of the incidental characters, and had to have a different voice for each one. And in that one episode, he ended up doing 16 characters, and none of them sounded even remotely alike. And at 10 years old, I was like, man, one day, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, but I will still keep trying to do that, because I think that's so impressive. That and the trailer guys. I love those trailer guys. I wish I could do the trailer voice, but I can't. It's not low enough. Maybe one day. Yes, hello!
Hi, you voice over so many characters. Who's been your favorite to voice over?
If I pick a favorite, the other ones will attack. They all live within me, and they'll all attack, and some of them are very good with swords. Most of them just have really serious anger issues, and I don't want to deal with that. No, but honestly, I can't pick a favorite. Because each one of them has helped me through something in my life or reminded me of something in my life, that picking a favorite is like, well, you're helping more than this character, and it's like I can't do that. It's like picking, you know, which parent or which friend, and you're like, oh, I can pick which parent I love more. I can't. I love my parents so much. But I usually will like leave a session, and after I'm done working on it, I say, oh, this character is my favorite ever in the world. And everyone's like, oh, you found a favorite. Yeah. Next session, 2 hours later, I leave that. I'm like, man, this character is my favorite. And my husband will get upset with me because I'll call him and say, like, I had the best session ever. I got to play a singing goat with anger issues, and it was awesome. It's my favorite character in the world. And he's like, I thought you said that about Sailor Venus this morning. I was like, I did. Also my favorite character. He goes, this is not your one favorite. I was like, they're all my favorite. But in that moment in time, that one was my favorite. So, what was the last show that I worked on? Oh, the last character that I played before I came here was Suzuha in Steins Gate. So, until I go back and voice another character on Tuesday, Suzuha will be my favorite. So she wins the weekend until Tuesday, in which case she is going to be dethroned by... Oh, I can't talk about that show yet. I almost slipped up really bad. But yeah, I'm working on another show that hasn't been announced yet, and I love her. She will be my favorite on Tuesday. So that's how I pick my favorites. Whoever was the last one I got to hang out with. I know that's a lame reason, but guys, they're all living in my head. I don't need a mutiny. We'll get dangerous and bloody. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, are there any of your characters that you would like to do again, or that you would like to see progress and develop further that they already have?
Oh, man. I know people, some actors will say like, yeah, I want to do all of them again because I want to work. I would love to, I mean, I love to work, so I love my job, but I'm trying to think like which one I would love to see do again and see. I mean, it's fun. It's like seeing a friend again after you haven't seen them in a while. You're like, oh, what have you been up to? What's changed? You kind of like jump in. The first session's always a little scary, especially if it's a character that was really popular, because you're like, okay, don't screw this up now. They didn't hate you the first time. Pressure's on. Well, it just popped into my head, and I know this is not the only answer, but it would be really fun to get to do Gage again, because that was the very first like huge video game that I got to work on, and I was so terrified. So I would like to see what happens to her once she's kind of been there a little while, and how life has changed for her. How's her relationship with Death Trap? I mean, all that stuff would be good to know. I also think it would be cool to revisit any of them, like in a film, and get to do them on camera as well. And so, because when you're in a booth, they don't really care like what you look at, and it would be really, really fun. Those of you that are cosplayers know this. It'd be really fun to get to like embody the costume and get to embody every part of them, not just jumping in the booth and seeing the animation, but you get all that movement is you. That would be a really fun way to explore their character that I don't get to do on a regular basis. Thank you.
Yes, hello, Listen, what was it like working on Devilman Crybaby?
Devilman Crybaby was so intimidating at first. I haven't worked on a show like that before, and every session I had a moment where I was like, what is this? What is happening? And then once I kind of got into it, I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting show. And people say like, oh, how did you relate to that character? And I said, well, she's always talking about being the second choice or being number 2. She's never going to be good enough. And so at this time in my life when I've been up for a lot of roles and when I was working on that show, I had just found out that I was up for a brand new TV show and it was me and another person and I was the second choice. So when I'm saying all of that stuff, like I will never be the first or I'm never gonna get to amount to this, it was all too real. So it was a great way for me to work through that frustration in my life. But yeah, she's a little dark and a little, I don't usually morph into creatures on a regular basis. Maybe only if I haven't eaten for a couple of hours and then I become like super emotional, not hangry. I just cry. Like I'm so hungry I cry. It's really terrifying. I don't wish it upon anyone.
Hi again.
Hello.
I just want to say that I loved your job with Plutia from Hyperdimension.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just a quick question with that, since you obviously played 2 very different characters.
Yes.
Did you have to switch instantly when you did it, or was it recorded separately? And how was it working with 2 very different characters?
Great question. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Hyperdimension Neptunia, I play Plutia and then I play her alter ego, Iris Heart. Plutia is very sweet, adorable, talks really slow, takes lots of naps, loves plushies, and she's like a lovely little tiny creature that you just want to hug all the time. And Iris Heart is like a dominatrix. She has like a whip. She wears a lot of leather. She's very angry, very verbally abusive. So usually we would do them in the same session, and we would do Plutia first. And that way, if I had to say too many loud, screamy things, it didn't hurt my voice, and then I would have to go do Plutia after. So we usually do Plutia first, and then we do Iris Heart right after. And oddly enough, I feel very zen and very balanced when I leave the session. It's like I get all of my love, rainbow, clouds, cutesy, all of that out into the universe, and then I get all of my like road rage, traffic, anger, the world is a frustrating place. I get it all out in the open, and I'm usually like real chill the rest of the day. People usually want to hang out with me after I do that session because I'm like, yeah, everything sounds great. I just get it all out on the table and then I can like be myself. But I love playing those characters. Iris Heart makes me a little uncomfortable sometimes though. Like I'm like, I don't want to say this. Please don't make me say this. And then I just have to say it quick, like a Band-Aid, and then like never revisit it again. Hello.
Hey, as you voice act in a lot of anime, do you ever watch the original Japanese versions of the anime, and is there any Japanese voice actors or actresses you are a fan of?
Yeah, I've seen the Japanese version of every anime that I've worked on, because when we record, one thing that we always do, we have 2 screens. We have the animation and we have the script, and so we're constantly bouncing between the 2. And so for every scene that we do, anything that we're going to record, we always preview in Japanese. So we're hearing the inflection and the intent and the full performance of what, big picture it's supposed to look and sound like. And then we read by ourselves, so we're only concerned with our character. But sometimes it's amazing to me that I often forget that it's a different language because I can completely hear and I can completely see exactly the intent emotionally because emotions are universal for all of us. So I'm trying to pick a favorite that I love or so hard. One that I have not met and I really would love to meet because we've shared the same character for almost 8 years is Aya Hirano, who voices Lucy. I think it would be really cool to hear what her experience has been like voicing Lucy for such a long period of time and what it's been like to play such an iconic, beloved character in Japan, where fairy tale is like all over the place. I met the voice actress for Asuna at a panel, and I was so excited to meet her, and I didn't know that she had told someone, I'm so excited to meet her, I'm so excited to meet her, and I did not know that we were so mutually excited that when we first saw each other, we ran to each other and like did this like weird attack hug, and it was so weird because we said at the same time, she had a translator and I had a translator for her. We said at the same time, it's my sister! And we did not know, because it's two different languages, what each other had said. And then we started laughing for like 20 minutes, because we were exactly the same. So that was really fun. So I can't pick a favorite of who I would love to meet. I would really love to meet all of the counterparts that I've played, because I feel like I know their performances so well, but those two specifically, because I have played their characters for so long, it was really cool to get to finally meet in person. It was like, you know, hanging out with a pen pal, you finally get to meet in person. Hello!
Hey, I just wanted to repeat what I said earlier, basically, about how grateful I am and how grateful we are for you for bringing so many of our characters, so many of our favorite characters,
Aww.
to life through your performances, and for bringing love and light into our lives, both literally and figuratively. And that's kind of all I really wanted to say. But,
well, thank you so much.
I just thought I'd say it.
This is the lovely pair who brought me like a bag of all things cat and squishies, and it's a bag of joy, honestly. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for watching all the shows. With Kawaii in Real Life especially, it was really hard to know how people were responding to that and Love and Light, because Unlocked is so new. It's really cool to see that people enjoy it and that they care, and the app is going through so many developments and changes. Maybe we'll bring stuff back and change it up, but it's been really fun to be on that journey, and I'm so thankful that people watch, because I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to care about my obsession with squishies that I found in Canada, but not only do people care, there was one person that like messaged and said, my son has autism, and I think these would really help him when he has to take the bus to school. And so the company that I bought them from actually messaged me, and they said, a lot of people are buying these squishies, and they say it's from you. And they said there are a lot of people with autism who bought them because this woman said it really helped her son. So I was like, hey, who knew? I'm spreading the love of squishies all day long. I said it definitely calms me down too, so I get it. They're just so lovely and squishy, and they smell so nice, and they're so colorful. Any other questions? I promise I won't attack anybody. Yes. Yeah. There's no such thing as a stupid question out there.
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal? Well, this has shifted many a time. My favorite animal has always been a monkey. I don't know why I love them so much, but then my husband and I adopted two black cats 2 years ago, Aries and Zimmy, and I've always been surrounded by cats. When I was born, my mom had 10 cats, and my dad had 7 dogs, so I purred before I could talk, so I'm like, I guess a human cat girl. But I was like, if cats were my favorite animal, that would be like so cliche, because cats are my mom's favorite animal. So I have 2 favorite cats, my Aries and my Zemi, because they're my little babies, and I miss them so much when I'm not here, when I'm away from them. I found out recently if cats are like scratching things or peeing on things when their owners are gone, it's not because they're mad at you, it's because that item smells like you, and they're trying to make the scent come back so it's stronger because they miss you. I'm like, well, now you can't punish them for tearing up the furniture, because you're like, this is a symbol of your love for me. This is frustrating. I have to clean or replace this now. But you meant it with love, so still, they're in trouble if they do that. Any other questions? I also love giraffes. Yes. Giraffes are my fave because of Soul Eater, and also my husband is a human giraffe. He's 6'5". I am not 6'5". But I don't break his neck like Patty breaks the giraffe's neck in the anime. Although someone did make a paper giraffe for me in Ireland and made me break its neck, and then it velcroed back together. It was an experience. I literally freaked out. I thought I broke their cosplay, and they're like, no, I wanted it to do that. It's Velcro. And I was like, oh my gosh. Dude, you had a plan. Well done. Yes.
How did you get into voice acting?
Great question. When I finally got an agent when I was 7, I had the adult department of the agency. There was a child department and adult department. The adult agent came to my kid agent and said, I would like Cherami to come in and audition to be the voice of a 7-Eleven commercial, which is like, you know, just a regular convenience store. And they needed a 3-year-old who could talk for like a minute-long promo and do multiple promos talking about like how Slurpees were made or how donuts were made at 7-Eleven. And she went through this grandiose thing of, well, there are actually fairies that live beneath the 7-Eleven stores, and they put the sprinkles on themselves, and they're actually made of magic. And it's like, you know, kids' imagination of how all these products were made at 7-Eleven. So they wanted a 3-year-old, but 3-year-olds can't read for the most part. So they got me as a 7-year-old who sounded like she was 3 to do the promos, and that was my first voiceover job. And way back when, you would like go into a closet that was padded, and you would talk into a tape player, and then they would take the cassette tape out, and then that was what they used to take to the radio station and play the commercials and all that stuff. Now it's all automated and you can record into a computer and they edit it really quick. But it used to be on cassette tapes. So after that I just started doing voiceover commercials once a week because they're like, we don't have to teach this kid how to use the mic. She's been doing it for this last project we worked on. So I did a lot of, anytime they needed a precocious kid to say big words, that was my job. And then I like moved on and now I still get to play the little kid who gets to say big words, which is nice.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. That's what's great about being a voice actor. Like, you really can't grow out of a role unless your voice changes. But on camera, definitely do not get to play a precocious child anymore. That was fun for a while, though. Yes. Hi. Hello. How are you?
Behind a pillar.
I know. I was like, there's someone behind a pillar. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good.
Random question. Are there any manga series that you like keep up with? Either ones that have come out fully or any that are still coming out?
Well, one of the first ones that I got, first show I worked on was Peach Girl, and so I bought the whole series of that. And then I was like, I'm gonna keep up with the fairy tale. But then for a while, like the anime was ahead, and then the manga was ahead, and the director asked me to like stop reading things because I was like, well, this has happened. He goes, no, it hasn't. Wait, no, just Cherami, what was the last episode we worked on? I was like, I don't know, it was 3 months ago, what happened? So it got very confusing. So usually I'm not reading manga on shows that I've worked on because I'll confuse myself about what's happened and what hasn't. And then I either am telegraphing what is going to happen, and it gets very weird. But a show that I read like 10 years ago, I think it was called Strawberry Marshmallow. I think it was really adorable, and obviously it sounds like I'm like, cute, adorable. It's fruit and marshmallows and sugar. I'll take it. But I'm trying to think if there's another show that I'm working on. Anime is coming out so fast these days. That every time I'm like, oh, I'd love to grab that manga, they're like, oh, the anime is coming out and you're going to be working on it, so don't read anything. I'm like, well, that's helpful. Thanks. Taking away all my joy. I did read, and I'm still working on the Boruto light novels. Well, I guess it's not Boruto. The Naruto, Boruto crossover light novels, those are really good because it's giving me insight to things that I've missed since we did the movie. Hopefully we'll be working on the series, so I want to be prepared, and nobody's told me I'm not allowed to read things yet, so I'm reading as much as I can before they say, give us all your books. And then it's like Fahrenheit 451 all over again in my life. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's what I'm reading.
Again.
Hello.
you know, in the Danganronpa games, many voice actors, name a few, people like Todd Habercorn, Bryce Pappenbrook, Kira Buckland, Grant George, Kyle Herbert, people like that. They voiced twice in like Danganronpa games, and like late games such as V3, possibly the second game. Like, you've only voiced Komaru at the moment.
Yeah.
So, do you think if in a future Danganronpa game you'd voice a character from the same franchise again?
I mean, yeah, if they told me I was allowed to, I would totally be all over it. I loved working on Danganronpa, so if they said, Kumaru's not back, but do you want to play this character? I would say, yes, what time do you need me to be there? I would just be so excited to go back and hang out with crazy, aggressive teddy bears. They're so cute. They'll eat your face. Which is terrible. They're adorable.
Yeah, Monokuma isn't the nicest there.
Yeah. No, not really. But we like him.
He's like,
boop, 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 boop. That's awesome! Oh my gosh, that sounded just like him. That's so cute. I'm glad you like the game.
5 seconds, it's going to take me a while to navigate the
No
chairs.
worries. I don't know how you do that. One time I had like a little headset mic, and I was walking around because we didn't have enough. And I don't know how you guys did that. I tripped over like 18 chairs. I almost face planted. I was like sweating by the end of the panel, and I was talking, and the voice actors were on the stage laughing at me. All of my friends were laughing at me because I looked like I had a little tiny talk show mic walking around and tripping over myself. Yes.
Is there anything any anime that's coming now or any manga you've seen that you know there's no plans for it to be happening, but if you're like, if that happened, I want that character?
Oh man. So the last time I did that was with Sword Art Online, because somebody said, you have to see the show, you will love it. And I said, okay, cool. So I watched Sword Art Online, and I said, I don't care who I get to play, but I have to work on the show. And then when the audition came through, I put so much pressure on myself because, like, Type A, I was like, well, gotta make this the best audition ever so I can be in the show. And then I was so stressed. And then I got cast as Asuna, which worked out. But after that experience, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to watch things and fall in love with a character. So I guess probably the closest to that would be I love My Little Pony. You know, cute and adorable, colorful. Clearly you guys see that I have a theme. It's either ghosts or cute and adorable. So like paranormal stuff would be awesome, or anything cute and fluffy I'm down for. But yeah, it would be really cool to be like, I don't know, a rock with a hair bow in My Little Pony. Maybe she can have one word. I don't care. I just would like to be in the show. And then I have written a lot of stuff, but I love historical fiction. So I don't know if an anime out there exists, but anything that has to do with like art history, things from the past, maybe the Italian Renaissance, going back in time. So like a Steins Gate meets the Da Vinci Code with maybe like more art. If we could make that an anime or just make that a movie, and there could be magic in it as well. I'm not picky. I just have all these hyper-specific demands. Or a pirate. If there's a new Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm just saying I could very easily play Johnny Depp's illegitimate daughter with a bad attitude. I volunteer as tribute. Yeah, so that'd be fun. I don't know. Clearly, I don't really care as long as someone's like, do you want to play this character? I'm like, sure. I have a very boring life as per usual. I stand in a padded room all day, talk to myself, and then go home and hang out with my cats. So when I do acting, that's the only time I get to do really cool stuff. And then when I go to conventions, they're like, do you want to come across the world? I'm like, yes, because otherwise I'll be sitting at home with my cats. And my cats are great. However, my couch is not that cool. It's certainly not in Newcastle, so there you go. But yeah, I never turn down any opportunity to work if it's a really good character and will give me an opportunity to step out of my comfort zone and grow as an actor, because that's what it's all about.
So I have bad news in the sense of we're just now starting to run over, so I'm proposing this may be the last question.
Okay.
Unless you want to go for a little bit further, longer on.
Totally, it's up to you guys. Is there another panel after here? I don't know, like...
No, this is the last for today's stage.
Okay, cool.
So here you go.
Yeah, I was wondering, have you seen the Nia on the Mother live streams by, what's her name, somebody, Kira Buckland and Kelly Kirsten or something, I can't remember. The voice of 9S and whatchamacallit, 2B.
Oh yeah, no, they play and do the live streams together. I haven't watched them yet, but they asked me, they're like, next time we do one, if you're available, you'll have to come join us. So that would be cool. Although they're really good at playing games, and I am not. So it would just be embarrassing for me. Although it might be cool, because A2 is so amazing, and I'm like so awkward, it would be like a weird blend. Everybody would laugh at me, which I'm fine with. I get it. So, last question, or are you guys cool?
Does anyone have any final questions? This will be the last opportunity you get.
And then I'll be back tomorrow and Sunday. So if you're like, I have another question later, or no. If not, go get some tea and food.
I'm going to throw the microphone at you because the camera crew will attempt to kill me if I run in front of them again, right? Ready? If you drop it, it's on you.
Oh my gosh, this is terrifying. Oh my gosh, well done! Yes!
Thank you, Patrick.
That made my heart hurt a little bit. I was so scared. That's trust right there. Well done. Yes.
Just a quick question. The panels which are like you on stage, what's that actually about?
Oh, the panel's tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think is it me and Caitlin together? Or me by myself? Or how does that work? I don't know how it's going to be.
I don't remember.
It's going to be fun. If you guys want to, we'll take a poll, but I usually do, at some conventions, I do an improv panel. So if you guys want to get up and play games, and we'll have you guys do some stuff, if you guys want to turn that into what tomorrow is, I'll poll you guys. I'll have some options and see what the consensus wants to do. But if you guys want to get up and play games, the way I usually do improv is I want everybody to leave feeling confident. So it's a very positive environment. Yes, there are rules, but the rule about improv is yes and. So it's kind of like life. Life's going to throw you suggestions, it's going to throw you curveballs, and you kind of can't say, no, I don't want this, I don't want to get into this wreck, and then the world will say, oh, okay, well then we'll just stop. No, you'll still get in the accident, you have to deal with all the car stuff, and then you realize you can get through anything. So that's what improv is, but less injury. We're all chill. We keep our hands to ourselves unless we're giving people hugs when they say it's okay. But yeah, so I'll give you guys some other suggestions and we can hang out and figure out what you guys want to do tomorrow and Sunday.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for coming. You guys are so lovely. This was so fun.
So can we get a massive round of applause for Cherami?
I'll see you tomorrow.